Today we will do the introduction to skull. So the skull is made up of 22 bones excluding the ear ossicles. We can study the skull under the cranial skeleton or the neurocranium and facial skeleton or the splanchocranium. Let us do the neurocranium. The neurocranium includes the bones which enclose the cranial cavity to contain brain and meninges. The cranial skeleton or the neurocranium, it has 2 paired bones and 4 unpaired bones. The paired bones are the parietal bone, and the temporal bone. This is the temporal bone. On either side. Now the unpaired bones are frontal bone, occipital bone, the sphenoid bone, you can see the sphenoid bone exteriorly here also, that is the greater wing of the sphenoid bone, and ethmoid bone. You can see the part of the ethmoid interiorly also. Now, the vault of the neurocranium is also known as the calvaria. Now let us look at the facial skeleton or the splanchocranium. It consists of 14 bones, out of which 6 are paired and 2 are unpaired. The unpaired bones are mandible and vomer. The paired bones are maxilla, nasal bone, lacrimal bone, zygomatic bone, inferior nasal concha, and palatine bone here. This facial skeleton, it is derived from the branchial arches from the upper end of the primitive gut. Hence it is called as splanchocranium. The bones of the skull are united at immovable joints They are called as sutures. The connective tissue uniting the bones is called as the sutural ligaments. So, coming to the neurocranium, you have 8 bones, and splanchnolocranium you have 14 bones. So there are total of 22 bones except 6 ear ossicles. Out of these 22 bones, one bone, that is the mandible, which is the movable bone. Rest all are immovable bones. They are connected together by the sutures. Now this facial skeleton is derived from the branchial arches of the upper end of the primitive gut, hence called as the splanchnolocranium. Now let us see about Monro-Kelly doctrine. Cranial cavity is a rigid box which contains brain, blood and CSF. Since the cranial volume is constant, enlargement of any one component of its contents must be associated with diminished volume of the remaining 2 components, thus maintaining optimal intracranial pressure. Let us see the capacity of the cranial cavity. It varies in different types of skulls. If it is a microcephalic skull, that is below 1350 centimeter cube, between 1350 to 1450 centimeter cube, you call it as a mesocephalic skull, and above 1450 centimeter cube, you call it as a megacephalic skull. The normal skull presents approximately 85 named foramina, canals and fissures. One of the largest foramen is foramen magnum. Coming to the anatomical position of the skull, the anatomical position, the orbital cavities should be directed in front, and the lower margins of the orbit and the upper margin of the external acoustic meatus should be in a horizontal plane. So the skull is slightly tilted. Therefore, this way we have to hold, and this is the anatomical position. This orbitomeatal plane is also called as Frankfurt's plane. There is another line called as Reed's baseline, that is, it extends from the inferior margin of the orbit to the center of the external auditory meatus. This line is called as the Reed's baseline.